Hey y'all, it's Wednesday night. Thank you all for being here. I figured out the audio thing. That's awesome. I appreciate the viewership. We've got over a dozen players here. We're getting things started with round one going up here shortly. A bunch of players from the crew are going to be going to the Knoxville Regional Championship, so this is going to be their last stop to prepare their decks for Knoxville. I'm going to be attending Knoxville as well. So is Natalie, so is Matt Price, who's actually running the tournament right now, one of our employees here at Full Grip Games. So we've got a bunch of us going to the Knoxville Regional Championships, and I'm really excited to see what that tournament brings and what sort of new revelations we might find in this current standard format. So I'm stoked on that. Probably also going to be attending the Virginia Regional Championships as well, which are going to be expanded format. So I am going to have to switch gears pretty quickly out of standard into expanded. And they haven't made any announcements as to any sort of ban list or anything like that for expanded format. So it's looking like it might just be a free-for-all out there in expanded with a bunch of Mewtwo and Mew decks running wild. We got round one going up.
Matt Price and Jesse Parker.
Matt Price versus Jesse Parker. All right, y'all. We're going to be getting ready for round one of the Full Grip Games League tournament with Matt Price versus Jesse Parker. We will be right back, and I'll get that match squared away for you guys. And it looks like round one is getting underway. Players are getting started now. Jesse, with a couple of mulligan draws, gets to go first as well, which is excellent for his BEHEEYEM deck. He's got an Ultra Space, which he can use to search out a Ultra Beast Pokemon. We'll see who he goes for here. I'm not exactly sure what Ultra Beast line he plays or what Ultra Beast Pokemon he might be relying on for his deck to play Ultra Space. It looks like he has Naganadel, so might be the Naganadel that draws cards, I would have to imagine, with Ultra Conversion. I haven't really seen a BEHEEYEM deck that plays Ultra Beast. Usually I see it paired with Pidgeotto to use Pidgeotto's ability to draw cards that way. But Ultra Space and Naganadel GX is a pretty good option if you can get that set up. I mean, Ultra Space does find the Pokemon for you, which is nice. And it also finds you Pokemon to Ultra Conversion away. But we see that Poipole getting suited up with a Psychic Energy, so maybe there is more planned here than that I may realize. I think that potentially Jesse may plan on using Venom Shot with that Naganadel GX. That's why we see the Psychic Energy coming down. You can use the Triple Acceleration Energy to just discard it and do 170 snipe damage, which is huge. I mean, being able to finish off a lot of threats, very, very cool. Matt's going to be starting with the Greens Exploration. He's got Gardevoir, Sylveon in the active, a couple Fairy Energies in his hand, and I was talking to him about it. I mean, a lot of times funny, you end up using Greens for another Greens on turn one and just getting yourself one other trainer card that you need. I think Matt would be in a pretty safe spot to just get himself another Gardevoir and Sylveon. But it looks like he's just going for the Energy Spinner and is going to get himself 3 more Fairy Energy to his hand. So he's got a ton of Fairy Energy going in with the Fairy Song. Power Plant to counter that Ultra Space. And it's going to accelerate to his benched Xerneas GX using Fairy Song. Jesse wasting no time countering that Power Plant. He's got an Ultra Space of his own and is going to use it. And I believe we're going to see that Naganadel GX come down into play. Very interesting build of BEHEEYEM here with Psychic Energies as well. Like I said, so he can use that Venom Shot attack to help clean things up. I mean, because Mysterious Noise only does 90 damage, so not a whole lot of damage output there. But with the looming threats of 170 on the horizon, it's always something that you gotta keep in mind. It's not just 90 damage a turn anymore with that Naganadel GX. And thank you so much, Lord Arcthor19, for the sub. Appreciate you, Lord Arcthor. Thanks for hanging out, being a part of Tricky Jim. Let's see, we've got Naganadel GX coming into play. And Jesse's going to use Tate and Liza. He does need to find quite a bit here. Needs to find a BEHEEYEM, a triple acceleration energy. There's the triple. He's got a Ninetales, and I think I might see a BEHEEYEM in that hand. No, it's a Naganadel. Ultra Conversion, still on the hunt. Does not find the BEHEEYEM that he needs to use his item locking attack. He does evolve his Ditto into, oh my goodness, the Ninetales with that barrier ability. And Matt is not going to be able to hit this Ninetales. That is really brutal. I don't know that Matt has an option to get around this Alolan Ninetales at all. This could just be game. I don't think Matt's deck has a single non-GX Pokemon, and Jesse might have just stuck him here with an auto-lose scenario. This could very quickly turn into a draw-pass situation with the Alolan Ninetales, and it's not looking good for Matt. Matt only has a couple of custom catcher outs in his deck. The Ninetales from Team Up here in the active with its Luminous Barrier ability. I mean, Matt can only gust twice. He does have a GX Pokemon on Jesse's bench that he could potentially swing into, but that's not going to be enough to take this game down. And then as soon as Jesse starts item locking with BEHEEYEM, it's going to be a wrap, because then Matt doesn't even have any option to gust around this Ninetales. Unfortunately, Power Plant only shutting off Pokemon GX and EX abilities, not doing anything to this Alolan Ninetales here. And Matt is in quite the predicament. And it prevents all effects of attacks. Matt can't even use the GX attack. Sanctuary GX, he can't. I mean, there is only 30 minutes in this round. The round could go to time, potentially. But I think Matt sees what the situation is and is going to start sniping things with Xerneas GX. This is probably his best bet, is just to hope that Jesse's deck never functions, or that maybe Jesse has prized all of his stuff. But it's probably just not going to be the case. I mean, you got to try to play to your outs. You got to try to use Overrun with Xerneas. Is it actually called Overrun? I know it's like the same as Overrun. It is called Overrun. Yes, you got to try to use Overrun with your Xerneas GX. But at this point, we see the triple acceleration energy coming down onto the BEHEEYEM on Jesse's bench. All he needs is a switch out off of this Cynthia for 6 cards, and he'll be able to swing into the Xerneas and stop this Overrun action real quick. Jesse's got Pokemon Communication, going to trade the Vulpix back into the deck. Potentially get himself a Pokemon to evolve up another BEHEEYEM. He's got the U-turn board as well. This BEHEEYEM is live. Going to be getting shuffled back into the deck. Taking a little chunk out of Xerneas there. And this game looks like it is very much in Jesse's control. Matt's only out to deal damage. Just took a significant hit. I mean, he's getting 2-hit KO'd by these BEHEEYEM. And thank you so much, X Denzel, for the 100 bits. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Appreciate it. Matt has got to be worried. I mean, he can Sanctuary GX just to heal. That seems suboptimal. I think he's just in a tight spot with no real good outs. But, you got to keep fighting to see if anything reveals itself. I don't think it will at this point. Jesse didn't prize all 4 of his energy. That's like really the only hope, I think, in this situation, or hope that Jesse at some point draws dead here and that he is not able to find, some of his key cards that he needs. Hope that he's not able to stream the BEHEEYEMs. Hope that potentially you can just use Overrun turn after turn, but with that U-turn board on the Ninetales seems pretty squared away. Jesse needs a single card off of this Copycat, just a triple acceleration energy, and the Xerneas is down, and the Xerneas is Matt's only hope. We see him desperately trying to snipe that BEHEEYEM on the bench. Jesse finds a Beast Energy and the triple acceleration energy. This Xerneas is going down, and I wonder if we're going to see a scoop from Matt. He does. Scoops it up. That's Matt's only out to hit through the Alolan Ninetales, the Xerneas, and Jesse was getting ready to take it down. Jesse Parker's Alolan Ninetales BEHEEYEM deck emerging 1-0 here at the Full Grip League Tournament, winning that first round very convincingly. No option to play around Alolan Ninetales in Matt's proven Gardevoir and Sylveon deck. Got Jesse Parker here, just won his first round. How you doing, Jesse?
Pretty good.
BEHEEYEM, dude.
Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to bring BEHEEYEM to the league tournament tonight?
Well, Mike Fouché, he posted the list on his Twitter last week. He actually played it at Atlantic City. And
sick.
He went 5-2-2, so top 128.
Okay.
And his winning in was a tie, which is unfortunate. So
yeah.
But yeah, the deck's really strong. It's known as Space Cadets, is what people were calling it.
Okay. All right, nice little...
two space guys in there.
Cute little nickname. Who are the space guys, I guess?
Naganadel, he's like a space, wasp thing. And
space bumblebee.
BEHEEYEM,
is an alien.
Is basically an alien, so Space Cadets.
Okay, all right. I
cute,
follow. Very cute.
Yeah, the deck's, it's pretty consistent. Obviously getting your board set up early in the early game, it can be a little... hard to do, but the consistency that Ultra Space brings is really good. You just
for sure
find that Naga GX. As long as you don't get power planted, you just start drawing through your whole deck. So.
We saw you play the Psychic Energies in there, which give you an out to be able to Venom Shot, right?
Venom Shot. Also, you have the baby Naganadel, so you can charge up, retreat.
Okay.
So it has that. That's like another out to retreat. Also Beast Energy. So yeah, I like the list compared to the Pidgey list because it's not as streamlined into just using BEHEEYEM. You have that snipe to finish things off. Also the Stinger GX Naganadel to set up checkmate on tag teams.
Right.
Which is really strong. So you have those different routes to win, and you just obviously like that. You get free games like that every now and then. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And the math works out on Pikarom, right? If you hit 90 in the Pikarom and then 170 should finish it off, which is pretty good. Every other tag team, you hit them twice.
It has a little more, yeah, sure.
Yeah, which is cool. But we saw in that game you played against Matt, you were just able to set up Luminous Barrier, and that was GG's. Yeah. So what matchups do you think just take a hard loss to that Luminous Barrier?
Just the Luminous Barrier in general. Guardy, I think, is the only actual, main deck that just,
can't deal with it at all.
But, Pikarom has a lot of hard times dealing with it for the same reason they have a hard time dealing with Keldeo.
Right.
Because they can't even power plant around it, so that's one extra out that they don't have. So a lot of lists aren't even playing Zapdos. So if they're not playing Zapdos, all they have is a Hoopa to get around it.
Right.
But as long as you deal with that one threat, it's a 2-2 line or a 3-2 with Ditto, then you can.
Wow.
They have a really hard time dealing with it. They'll just miss attacks, and you'll just keep streaming. 90 hits.
Which we saw, it's a pretty decently sized Alolan Ninetales line, and then the one Goomy, right?
The one Goomy.
Okay, yeah. And those are your walls?
Yeah. Those the Goomy and, let's see, what else? I guess that's pretty much it. I've just been playing the list recently, so I'm not, super skilled with it yet. But, Mike Fouché definitely created a really cool deck. So it's
for sure.
Fun, yeah.
Awesome stuff. So you are going to be going to the Knoxville
Yes.
Regional Championships, and you've been testing quite a bit,
I have, yeah.
conquering league cups left and right. I know that you won this past weekend?
Yeah. I won
Yeah.
one, and I won. It was like a 20-ish person cup, so
Cool.
there was a lot of good players there.
So what are your expectations? How do you think the meta is going to shake up in Knoxville compared to previous weekends? Is there any answer to Mew Mew, or is that deck just the undisputed BDIF?
Well, I think I don't know if there's really. I wouldn't say there's like a clear BDIF right now. I actually think the
Won
format's-
back-to-back regionals, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, it's honestly just because that's what the top players are playing. It all
It's
boils
fair.
down to that. I mean, like so many top players picked up Pikarom and Mew Mew, and like that was like basically 50% of the day too. Where I'm sure they could have picked up any other deck and probably had the same success or close to the same success. So it's just what people choose to play.
So do you feel like a lot of the top decks are pretty evenly matched then?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it is a little like with decks like BEHEEYEM and Guardy, it is a little like you have a little roulette there where like you have just some like really easy matchups and really hard matchups. But I've seen so many differing opinions on like matchups and what's favored here and what's not favored.
Sure.
But honestly, I just feel like there's a lot of like really close matchups depending on the way you play it, and like 60-40s, 55-45s, or just straight 50-50s depending on what techs you play. I think the meta is very heavy onto what techs you're playing or what version of a deck you're playing.
Sure.
So honestly, I just think playing what you're most comfortable with, and I think the reason Mewtwo's so popular is because you have so many different options to win and outplay your opponent. Whereas a deck like Abilities Art is pretty straightforward. Your opponent knows what you're gonna do. It's just like, do you have it?
Right.
So I think that's probably the reason why it's considered BDIF, but I wouldn't really say it is. But it's definitely one of the best decks for sure.
Cool, Jesse. Well, thanks for sharing thoughts with us, and good luck in the second round.
Thanks.
We'll be back with round 2 here shortly. Yo, I got Brady here with us. He also won his round 1, but I just wanted to take a second to thank Ahern out here gifting 3 subs. We had ourselves a little whoop party there. Thank you so much, Ahern, for gifting those subs to the community, and thank you so much for all you do for Tricky Jim here. You rock, my dude. So, Brady, you're rocking Pikarom today, right?
I am. Yes.
And how did your round 1 go?
I won. I was playing against a Mewtwo deck, and I beat him.
Beat him. All right. Not one for elaborating.
Yeah, okay, so he basically, I went second, full blitzed, and then he killed my Pikarom with
Charizard
GX, right?
Yeah.
And then I, next turn, when Raichu knocked out the Mewtwo, and the turn after that, double custom catcher the Charizard on his bench with an Electro Power and GX him for game.
Boy. Yeah, gnarly. Yeah. So, that, in my experience, is how that matchup goes more often than not. Especially if you get, a reset stamp in the mix, it's there's not really a lot they can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you pretty much, I feel like, from the Pikarom perspective, you, know if you're going to win on the first turn. If you've had, a decent first turn, you're just going to win that game.
That's what I think. I mean, honestly, if you just... And I'm a little bit biased towards Pikarom, but I feel like Pikarom has one of the better Mew Mew matchups of the top-tier decks. I was trying to get Reshizard to beat Mew Mew, and that just was, ugly as ever. Basically, you can do 300 for 6 energy, and they can do it for 4.
Right, yeah.
And you're both welder decks, and they just have the advantage. That just is what it is. There's that's just math. I mean, there's no way to really polish that, right? Sure. You have non-GX attackers, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They could just cross-divide all your dudes if they really want to end the game that way. They could turbo strike 2 things and then cross-divide. I mean, I've had the game end versus Mewtwo a bunch of ugly different ways. So anyways, you're going to be heading to the Knoxville Regional Championships. Is there anything that you're excited about, or how do you think the meta is going to change from what we saw a couple weekends ago in Atlantic City to this weekend?
I'm expecting Mewtwo, a lot more Mewtwo. I think it'll be the biggest
More?
deck. Yeah.
Yeah, you think it'll be the biggest deck?
Yeah, it was, the 3rd biggest in Atlantic City, I think. And I think it'll go from, number 1 for sure. There'll be way less Reshizard. That deck's bad, and, people realized it now.
We got a couple of Reshizards out here at the on the tournament floor, and I know Reshizard. I mean, but Reshizard fans are big fans of Reshizard. I mean, there's almost no token them off that deck, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
what about Malamar?
Pika and Malamar will be the 2nd and 3rd biggest decks.
You think Malamar will still show up in pretty big numbers?
I think so.
We've got a ton of Malamar out there on the tournament floor as well, and it seems like the Malamar people they play Malamar. That's it
for sure.
Yeah.
Malmar is like the deck I'm the most scared of going into this weekend for sure.
I would be too, and it is a tough deck, I think, to play in best 2 out of 3 format.
Yeah, because it's kind of slow.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's the thing, is like, I think a lot of the players that do play Malamar, they play Malamar, and they're very familiar with the deck.
For sure. Yeah.
They know how to play it quickly. They know when to scoop up their, their cards and go to game 2 because they play Malamar, like, every day of the week. So, like, they know what it is,
Yeah. Something like Otto always talks about is that, like, Malamar, there's more people who just play Malamar than, like, any other deck by far.
Right.
Like, there's so many people who that's the only deck they play. And it's such an easily accessible deck, too, especially with the new...
Ultra Necrozma, yeah.
So, so there'll be a ton of people who playing their first regional, bringing they opened up 2 Ultra Necrozma boxes and they're put it together.
Let's get the party started.
Right.
It's super relatable for me. My first deck was the Electric, and I guess not my first deck, but my first competitive deck was the Electric, like Mewtwo Wheels, bro. I played that deck for a whole year and a half. Mewtwo Wheels wasn't even good for probably the second whole year of that excursion, but I just loved that deck through and through. So that's definitely some relatable content for me. But anyways, is there any deck you're playing Pikarom? Any deck that you're not really trying to see? I guess Malamar.
Yeah, I am playing with Cyrus though.
Oh, you got this spicy Cyrus Prism Star. We were talking about this a little bit in our chat earlier. Cyrus Prism Star was a card that was played in the top 8 Worlds list, right? But we haven't seen it in the metagame lately, and I was sitting awake in bed last night just thinking about how I could beat Malamar, and I was like, man, I wish Parallel City was legal in the format. And then I was like, oh, Cyrus, why don't we just try that? So might be something that I try testing out as well to help sweeten up that Malamar matchup a little bit, because I do think it's going to be a big threat at the Knoxville Regional Championships.
For sure.
Anyways, congrats on your round 1, and hopefully we'll see you back in the later rounds.
All right.
Getting ready for the second round of the Full Grip Games League tournament. We've got Andrew Barlow on the right versus Melvin Davila on the left. Andrew Barlow just won a very close round 1. It was down to turn 3 of time in a Malamar mirror, and his only way to win was by popping his Giratina out of the discard pile and taking a KO on a bench Jirachi on his opponent's side that only had 10 hit points left. So very close game that I just witnessed there from Andrew Barlow. Moved on to 1-0, and now he's playing against Melvin here at the second round of the Full Grip Games League tournament. Andrew, big Malamar fan. I actually lost to his Malamar deck at a League Cup this past weekend, and it has definitely inspired me to reassess my Pikarom's Malamar matchup altogether. Players are drawing their hands and getting started now. I'm interested to see what Melvin has brought to the table for us. Looks like it might be a Mewtwo and Mew tag team deck. So we've got Mewbox versus Malamar. This matchup can be very close. Mewbox does have a lot of great options for this matchup. I mean, first and foremost, it's got to get Jirachi GX into play, and it looks like Melvin might be running towards list. I think I see a Red's Challenge there potentially in his hand, which he can use as his supporter to go grab one other card out of his deck, and that is for sure a Red's Challenge that I see. So not the best turn 1 from Melvin, but he can get things started here by discarding Fire Energy and a Latios and go get himself potentially a Welder for the next turn. That, or he can just ditch the whole hand with Dedenne and maybe draw some new cards. And it looks like he's eyeing up that Dedenne. I don't mind this play. Getting the Dedenne out of the deck, drawing 6 new cards. But the thing is, you're not really guaranteed yourself a Welder off of that. But he does just need to see more cards at this point. So I think getting the Dede change going here, definitely a good play from Melvin. He's just going to check his deck, make sure he's aware of what the prizes are here. And actually, Andrew Barlow's deck was the deck that I used for my going live image on Twitter and YouTube. He has got a completely blinged out, I mean, not completely blinged out. We see there's some non-secret rare spell tags in the deck. But he does have a completely shinied out Malamar line, which is definitely respectable. Very cool stuff that he's got here. Melvin digging with his custom catcher, able to find a mysterious treasure, which is great. It's going to allow him to get another Psychic or Dragon Pokemon into the discard pile, or even just Jirachi GX for the bench. It's a great grab from Melvin. Jirachi GX is going to keep his Mewtwo's from getting hit for Psychic Weakness by Giratina. So fantastic grab. And a Day-Day change for 6. Hoping to find himself a Welder for next turn and maybe a Giant Hearth, a couple of Fire Energies to really get this matchup going. But again, I don't see any of that in his hand. He does have a Cherish Ball though, so he can use Cherish Ball to go get himself a Dedenne and just try again next turn. And I expect that that's what we're going to see from Melvin, because this hand is just full of Pokemon and not a lot of other options. Barlow's got the perfect start here, and I'm saying, I mean, Barlow, he is definitely one with this Malamar deck. The Jirachi in the active, both Inkays on the bench. Andrew Barlow started a single Inkay versus me at the League Cup, played Cynthia, drew into multiple other Inkays and a Jirachi, switched it to the active. I mean, oh my goodness, it was wild. He definitely knows how to draw some hot Malamar hands, that is for sure. And we're seeing him do the same thing here on stream. Perfect setup so far. I mean, he's got everything that he could possibly want, and he gets to Stellar Wish. Take a look at the next 5 cards. See if he can find himself another Pokemon to set up. He's got a couple of Acro Bikes here. I expect we're going to see those come down, and that allows him to look even deeper. I love the Acro Bikes in Malamar. He can Acro Bike, then Stellar Wish. If you Acro Bike twice and then Stellar Wish, you're digging 9 cards deep in search of a mysterious treasure, which is really cool there. Tough choice, Esper or the Cynthia. He keeps the Esper. Thanks so much, Craig Sauce, for that sub, and the best wishes for Knoxville. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let's get some whoops going in the chat, everybody. That's what's up. Making my night here. Hey. Barlow's got himself a Lily off of the Stellar Wish. 3 shiny, blinged out Inkays on that bench. And that is a beautiful looking Malamar deck, I have to say. And he's all set up. I mean, really, the only other thing that he could possibly want is an energy on a Giratina. If he has a Giratina, then that would be great. He benches the second Jirachi there. Heads up choice from Barlow saying, you know what, I think that my active Jirachi probably going to get knocked out this next turn if I had to guess. Melvin using that Cherish Ball in his hand, going for the second Dedenne. And he does get to discard a bunch of Pokemon, but after this, he's pretty much bench locked. So he has to hope to draw at least an energy here, maybe get a Solgaleo GX in the discard pile as well. And it's Day-Day change time. Discarding a fat hand. He's got Solgaleo GX in there though, so all he needs to do is find himself an energy, and he can Turbo Strike for knockout. We see Barlow eyeing up the discard pile and making sure he's aware of what resources Melvin has gotten rid of here. 6 cards for Melvin. He needs an energy. He finds the Welder Giant Hearth combo as well as a Fire Energy. Melvin is going to get 3 guaranteed energy attachments this turn to his Mewtwo and Mew. That's fantastic news. If he gets a Fire Energy into the discard pile, he could potentially use Turbo Strike to accelerate one into play as well. So very explosive turn here. Melvin just deciding which card he wants to get rid of. He's going to ditch the Fire Energy. I think that's fine. We're expecting to see a Turbo Strike here. Melvin just wants to build up as many energy as he can on that backup Mewtwo on the bench, and maybe eventually go for a big cross division GX Using Venom Shot to play around spell tags, also a great option for Melvin in this match. He doesn't want to hit into any spell tags if he can help it, because the spell tags are going to help turn these 3-hit KOs from Giratina into 2-hit KOs. So he really doesn't want that to happen. Melvin's going to use Mysterious Treasure, discarding Magcargo GX, getting that in the discard pile, just getting another Mewtwo out of the deck, thinning the deck a little bit, making it so that his draws off of this Welder are going to be as hot as possible. Finds himself another Fire Energy. Perfect draws here. He gets another energy attachment for turn and can accelerate an energy with Turbo Strike. Gotta love that. And since he is running what appears to be a list similar to Tord Reklev's regional winning list, he does have the Lysander Labs in his hand. He can use the Lysander Labs to play through Spell Tag as well, which is awesome. It actually looks like Melvin is not running Tord's exact list, though, because as we know, Tord's list ran the Shedinjas and did not run custom catchers. I think that Melvin is probably playing a list similar to what Tord played, but with custom catchers instead of Shedinjas. And I've noticed that there is definitely some custom catchers in here, so not a card-for-card translation. Barlow going for a big Cynthia here. Jirachi in the active, no Malamars in play, hoping to get the pieces together for a big swing with Giratina. I know from taking a look at his list before the event, Barlow also runs that Giratina Prism Star as well as Shrine of Punishment. It is possible that he could attack with Giratina Prism Star this turn. I mean, that would be huge. It looks like Barlow doesn't draw a phenomenal hand here. Oh, never mind. I didn't see both Malamars in there. I do see a bunch of GX Pokemon, but 2 Malamars, definitely not shabby. And then he has a Stellar Wish as well. Not finding a Mysterious Treasure. Unable to get a Giratina out. Oh, and it looks like, yeah, Melvin's also running Jirachi GX. Tord did not play Jirachi GX. Tord played Weakness Guard Energy. So a bunch of unique inclusions here. I guess the only thing that I recognize from Tord's list is that Reds Challenge. I'd never seen the Reds Challenge in any other Mew Box decks other than Tord's. So very cool list here from Melvin that we've got. Barlow's going to take the switch. 2 Malamars. I know he's at least got a Psychic Energy or 2 in his discard pile, but no valid attacker to bring into the active. It's going to make this a little bit tough. He does have the Latios GX. He could use Clear Vision. Are we going to see a Clear Vision GX come down? It looks like that is what we got. Latios GX making its way into the active. Clear Vision GX. I mean, there's no walking it back now. Now Latios is out there. Barlow deciding if he wants to play maybe one more card. He could maybe throw down the Espeon Deoxys. That seems risky. I don't think I would do that. Oh. He switched into the... So he's going to go back into the Latios. I got it. So he's going to switch and then retreat. So he ends the turn with the Latios GX on his bench. He's not going to Clear Vision. He second-guessed himself. He is going to wait the turn and potentially try to get a Tag Purge announced. I think that's probably what he's going for here with that play, saying, all right, I guess if I Clear Vision, there's a pretty decent chance that I get knocked out. He's going to wait to try and Tag Purge. And now the ball is back in Melvin's court. Melvin completely set up. I mean, this is every Mew Box player's dream. If you could be here on turn 3, you really got the whole world in your hands. This is everything that he could possibly want. I mean, Barlow doesn't even have a Mew down Melvin just needs a Naginate LGX in the discard pile. I think he's already got that, and a Psychic Energy. If he could find a Psychic Energy, he could snipe the Latios GX on Barlow's bench with Venom Shot and take it right out of the equation. But it looks like Melvin is a little bit dry on draw right now. And Melvin just loading up this active Mewtwo, and I think just going in with the Turbo Strike. He's got that Solgaleo at the top of his deck. We see he is running 2 copies of Solgaleo. I think in my experience I have noticed that Solgaleo is definitely the most important GX Pokemon to copy in the Mew Box deck. It's an insane attack for Mewtwo to copy and helps you get 2 Mewtwo's built up as quickly as possible, which is usually what's needed to win a game with Mew Box. We see Barlow playing down the Viridian and playing Lily for 6. Now I'm really concerned about what this Viridian is going to open up for Melvin. Melvin, if he's able to find his Psychic Energy, can just start Venom Shotting benched Pokemon. He can start taking out Malamars. He can start taking out that Latios GX. The Viridian is going to be huge for Melvin. I mean, the Psychic Energy is the only thing that Melvin hasn't gotten his hands on yet. I think that Barlow might go for a Tag Purge here for 120. If Melvin plays Reshiram and Charizard GX, though, he's going to be able to swing through that. I do see the Mew in Barlow's hand, though. So he does have that option to use Mew's ability to stop that Venom Shot from hitting the bench. 2 Psychic Energies coming down onto Latios GX here. Spell Tag as well. And Barlow needs 1 more bench Pokemon to attack. So he's going to have to bench that Mew. There we go. He's now alive with Latios GX, and I think we're seeing a Tag Purge for 120. Ball is back in Melvin's court. Now, he has his GX attack available to him. Barlow did not use Clear Vision GX yet. So, Melvin could potentially take a big chunk out with Cross Division. He can definitely take, I think, can he take 3? He's close to 3, but he can't quite take 3. He is 10 damage short of a 3-prize turn with Cross Division. He could take out both Malamars, though, which would be huge. And I think a great option. He got the Psychic Energy, bumped the Viridian. Psychic Energy going down onto the Mewtwo and Mew makes me think that we're about to see Cross Division GX. Or potentially, he could just go for the Lysander Labs and knock out this active Latios. I think that's a fair play as well. I think he's just going to Flare Strike. Taking advantage of the Spell Tag, you know, being knocked away with the Lysander Labs is pretty good. Melvin's taking a second to read that Reshiram and Charizard. He can't use Double Blaze GX. I think you just want a Flare Strike here is fine. Oh, you would have to Double Blaze GX. That's right, that's right. Espeon Deoxys in the discard pile. Use Tag Purge. You'd have to Double Blaze GX. He doesn't have 6 Fire, though. He needs 6 Fire to go through. And I think he only has 5 Fire and a Psychic. So he doesn't have the necessary energy to use Reshiram and Charizard's Double Blaze GX. He needs 6 Fire. So now we see him eyeing up the Cross Division. I really like this play. I think Cross Division is fair. And then, yeah, we're going to see both Malamars go down. And a couple of damage counters make their way onto the Latios. But the question remains, you know, if Barlow is able to stream tag purges right now. Will Melvin have an answer? Since he just used his Cross Division GX, he no longer has Double Blaze GX. But Andrew Barlow might not have 4 Pokemon to bench and may not be able to attack with this Latios GX. His hand is dead. He doesn't have it. Andrew Barlow can't attack. He can't use Tag Purge. And it looks like Melvin's wager here, taking out both the Malamars, was the perfect play against this board state. Andrew Barlow cannot respond with a Tag Purge. He doesn't have enough bench Pokemon to get through this Power Bind ability on his own Latios GX. Tough situation here for Barlow. Looks like he may have to go in with this Esper and draw, and that's exactly what he's doing. Putting the Esper in the active position and drawing a single card with a spell tag on it. This is not where you want to be if you're Andrew Barlow. Andrew Barlow will surely get his Latios GX knocked out this turn. Melvin has got to be eyeing that up on the bench. All he has to do is use Venom Shot, copy that Naganadel GX out of the discard pile, and take out that Latios. Andrew Barlow has been unable to find any Giratinas this match. We know he plays them. He's got 2 of them in there. Oh, there is a Mew. That's right. Thank you. I always miss that Mew. Thank you. We got Owen in the chat. There is a Mew on the bench. He cannot Venom Shot. But if he used Custom Catcher, he would. He could do it. So it looks like Melvin only's got a couple prizes left, though. And Barlow has to find himself a supporter in order to continue play. Melvin may also be able to use double Custom Catcher, even if Barlow is able to use Tag Purge. And it looks like Barlow is carefully considering where to place his spell tag damage. He's going a couple onto the active, 1 onto the bench. Finds himself a Cynthia, and Barlow plays it. Wow! The Esper digging him 1 card deeper, getting him to the Cynthia. Andrew Barlow shuffling up. He needs to find 2 benched Pokemon to use Tag Purge, or this game is surely over. If he doesn't find 2, this game is a wrap. Andrew Barlow has not been able to find any benched Pokemon. Oh, and Power Bind actually doesn't need 4. Wait, if you have 4 or fewer Pokemon in play, this Pokemon can't attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He needs 3 bench Pokemon. I thought it was 4 bench Pokemon. Apparently, Power Bind says if you have 4 or fewer Pokemon in play, this Pokemon can't attack. So it needs 5. Yeah. So it needs 4 bench Pokemon. I was correct. Yeah, he needs 4 bench. All right. Yeah, chat messing with me a little bit. I've been right this whole time. It's 4 or fewer Pokemon in play. He can't attack. So he needs 4 bench. I've been on that the whole time, chat. It's 4 bench. He needs 4 bench. I've been right all along. All right, that's cool. Math is hard. So is reading. Oh my gosh. Gotta love a classic read the card scenario. Looks like Barlow is able to get both of his Giratinas into the discard pile. And that means that he will be able to qualify for the Power Bind on Latios GX. And he'll be using Tag Purge this turn to take a knockout. He's only got 1 Malamar in play, though. Can Andrew Barlow march back and win this game with only 1 Malamar in play? Does Melvin have Custom Catchers in his hand to win? I think he's only got 1 prize remaining, but can he get around this Tag Purge? Giratina getting loaded up on the bench. Andrew Barlow knew that the Latios would be key to his victory here. Does Melvin have an answer? Can he use double Custom Catcher? He's got a welder in his hand and a Denny and an acro bike. Let's see what he's got. Acro bikes into another acro bike. Now it's very dangerous here playing these. There's one custom catcher. He has to welder into the other one. He's got welder in his hand. He now cannot Dedenne. If he uses Dedenne, he'll have to discard his custom catcher. He's already down 2, I believe. He just needs to find that other custom catcher. He's using Giant Hearth. Let's go into this deck. Is there another custom catcher in the deck? Yo, let's go take a look at that deck, Melvin. We're all dying to know. He's also got a Hapu. I like this play. All right. 6. There's either a custom catcher or there's not. And there is. Melvin's got it. 2 custom catchers in his hand. And he's got Turbo Strike for game. Melvin's going to take it with the Hapu. Double custom catcher up the Malamar, and that's a wrap. Melvin takes it against the Malamar deck with Mewtwo and Mew. Well played by both players. Andrew Barlow unable to get his Giratinas out early. Had to lean on his Latios GX, and Melvin was able to cross divide and then eventually custom catcher around Barlow's Tag Purge to take the win. Excellent game on both sides. Yo, we got Melvin here. Just won his second round. You 2-0?
Yeah, 2-0 right now.
Awesome, man. Saw you playing Mew Box. Now, did you use any list as like inspiration for your list, or is this kind of your own homebrew here?
It's kind of like a combination of like Tor, the one that won first place in the last regional, and the first place winner in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So similar to Henry Brand's list and Tord's list.
Correct.
Now, we saw you play Jirachi GX and not the Weakness Guard energy. Why the Jirachi over the Weakness energy?
It's mostly for the mirror match.
Yeah.
The Weakness Guard is good if you're going first and they don't have Jirachi.
Right.
So once they have Jirachi, Weakness Guard is kind of like a waste of space to me.
That's fair. I think that's fair. And we saw your deck definitely drew really well. Now, what do you think about towards Shedinjas in there? We saw that you were going for custom catchers instead, right?
Yeah, definitely. Shedinjas were good because I tried them last week, but they didn't perform the way I wanted them to.
That's fair.
And I feel like at least with custom catchers, I can increase my chance of winning as I did that last week.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah. Now, were you nervous at all about the Tag Purge there? And being able to play around Tag Purge?
Yeah, a little bit until I kind of figured out that he needed like at least 4 bench Pokemon. That's kind of why I got rid of him.
Yeah, right. You took out the 2 Malamar, and he had to pass that turn. That was huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with just the Esper in the active drawing a card. That was crazy. And then Hapu getting you the game-winning play. Yeah. Saw you decided to go for the Hapu over the Welder. Saw 6 cards, and the custom catcher was there.
Yeah, I wanted a Hapu just to increase my chance of getting my second custom catchers to go for the game.
Awesome stuff. Now, is there any matchup that you're scared of when you're playing the Mew Box deck, or do you feel pretty good versus everything?
My build is kind of built to kind of counter the Guardy.
Okay. Yeah, what do you have in the deck to account for Gardevoir Sylveon? The Lysander Labs?
Yeah, I played 2 of that.
And then you also got the Reshiram Charizard in the deck, who can go through the Psychic Charm as well, right?
Yep.
Awesome stuff. So you've kind of accounted for your bad matchup then?
Yeah, a little bit. Except my worst fear is the Keldeo.
Oh, right.
I'm kind of glad I didn't play that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you could use the Double Blaze GX once, I guess, to get through that, but that's it.
If we get a second one, it's over.
It's going to be bad news. Awesome stuff, Melvin. Well, congratulations, and good luck in your next round.
All right, thank you.
Getting ready for round 3 of the forward game. We're going to botch that. Do it one more time. Gearing up for round 3 of the Forward Games League Tournament. We've got Holden Sheiks on the right versus Brady Botner on the left. Brady is going to be playing Pikarom against Holden's Reshiram and Charizard deck. And it looks like he has opened a hand full of Welders and Fires and no Pokemon. So he's really hoping for maybe a Cherish Ball off of this Stellar Wish. Brady has got a great hand, though. Electromagnetic Radar, 2 Lightning Energies, and he's got Tapu Koko in his hand already. So he's going to be good to accelerate these Lightning Energies out of the discard pile right away. So a fantastic start here from Brady. And we'll see how this matchup goes. It looks like he's going straight for Pikarom and Dedenne. Hoopa in the active. Usually Hoopa doesn't quite get his evil admonition to add up on a Jirachi in the early turns of the game against this Reshizard deck. Holden is not going to have too many ability Pokemon down on turn 1, but as the game progresses, Hoopa should be able to take a knockout on Jirachi potentially. But not a bad starter here from from Brady. I'm sure he doesn't really mind just having somebody in the active position so that he can use Dance of the Ancients to accelerate to his benched Pikarom. And it looks like Brady is pretty much squared away here for a turn 2 full blitz, especially if that's a Volkner I see in his hand on the left side. He's considering going in and potentially getting himself another Pokemon to use Dance the Ancients onto. I think he doesn't really want to accelerate to his Dedenne, which is fair. So we see him eyeing up that radar, and it looks like he's just deciding to get rid of that other Lightning. You really hate to discard it because it's like you don't want 3 in the discard pile, but you will if you have to. He's guaranteed an energy off that Volkner next turn, and he's accelerating multiple into play. So he should be fine. Looks like he's eyeing up Raichu and Alolan Raichu as well as Dedenne. A great start here. You should be able to accelerate some energy onto Pikarom as well as Raichu with Tapu Koko Prism Star. And the verdict is still out on Holden's hand. We don't know if he's going to get everything he needs. And it looks like Brady actually opting to go for Zeraora instead of the Raichu. Interesting choice for Brady. Not sure why we're going for the Zeraora here, but oh, Andy's got Volkner. I didn't realize he hasn't even played a supporter yet. This is a wild turn 1 from Brady. I thought he had maybe played a Volkner there on turn 1 before the Dedenne, but I guess he had not. He just opened all of that and went for it. Crazy. So he can get himself a switch, I think would be a good pick. I mean, honestly, if I'm Brady here, I'm not Brady. So Brady's getting the custom catcher and a lightning energy. If I'm Brady, I get a switch and I Pokecom that Zeraora right on in for the Jirachi and just shove that Jirachi in the active position. That's probably where I go with this, but we'll see. There must be a second custom catcher potentially in that hand that I don't know about. And that's going to be a pass from Brady. And there is a second custom catcher in that hand I don't know about. So that makes the play make way more sense. Holden finds himself a Cherish Ball, and he is a happy camper with that Cherish Ball, getting himself a Reshiram and Charizard GX out of the deck. Great selection there from Holden. He's going to get the turn 1 Welder onto that Reshizard. Didn't even have to Stellar Wish for it. He just top decked that Cherish Ball like a champ. Going to put that onto the bench, and he's got Welder for 2. I mean, this is the starting hand of champions here. Exactly what you want. Just a couple Welders, some fire energies. Wouldn't have it any other way. Gets himself another Reshizard. No additional fire energy in his hand, though. And he would really hate to Dedenne all of this. He does have the option to Date Change, but he really just wants a third fire energy to attach for turn. Brady, on the other hand, has got the double custom catcher, which is starting to look like a real good play, grabbing those custom catchers. He's going to probably bring up the Reshizard with 3 energy and full blitz into it. The only thing I'm not sure about is why the Zeraora over Raichu. I think Brady's going to want to find his Raichu this upcoming turn. And there he goes with Day Change. Was able to find that third fire energy to attach. And letting that Welder go. He did have to discard another Welder on that Day-Day change, but worth it. He probably plays Pal Pad in his list to shuffle a couple Welders back into the deck. Finds himself a Pokemon Communication, and I expect that we're going to be going back into the deck to find a Vulpix. It's the missing piece of Holden's opening start here. Needs to get himself a Vulpix onto the bench so that he can evolve that into Team Up Ninetales on the next turn or so. Start using that 9 Temptations ability to target down threats on Brady's bench, but I don't think that it's going to be too much of a concern for Brady having Holden target things down on the bench. Brady is going to be bringing that Pikarom right to Holden into the active, and it's going to be the question is, can Holden find another Welder to go for a big Double Blaze GX, or is he going to be stuck here without one? He's jamming his bench. He can't use Day-Day change this turn. This is about to be a blowout turn from Brady. He's got a big full blitz ahead, bringing up that Reshizard. If Holden does not have a switch, it's going to be bad news. And what's interesting here is that when you've got such a favorable position as Pikarom, it's like you're almost tempted just to go for Electro Powers and try to KO the Reshizard. That is not really something that needs to happen, though. You don't really need to go for it. I think Brady just needs to get the switch, because what gets hairy is if you throw down 2 Electro Powers versus Reshizard, you can't actually full blitz first for 210 into a Reshizard, or they will just outrage you for knockout. So you either have to have all 3 or you go like 1 or 0. You can't play 2 against a Reshizard, or you're just in a bad situation. Brady just gets switch here. Makes the most sense. Just get that Hoopa out of the active position. That or energy switch works. I mean, whatever floats your boat. But it's got to be one of those two. Either switch or energy switch to get the Hoopa to the bench. It looks like he's probably going with the energy switch here. It's fine. He's got Day-Day change as well to find himself a new hand. And an energy in his hand. He can attach that energy to Hoopa, retreat using Zeraora's Thunderclap Zone ability. Probably gust up that Reshizard with 3 energy on it and show it some love here. Still no Raichu on Brady's side of the field, though. Actually deciding, wow, that he's going to gust up the Vulpix in Day-Day change. Not sure how I feel about this play from Brady. Bringing up the Vulpix, wasting 2 custom catchers. Oh, and he's just going to attack with Hoopa. He's not even bringing up the Pikarom. I think that's probably fair if you know that Holden cannot gust this next turn, then his Pikarom is not in danger. So I think this is probably fine. Interesting play from Brady. And he says, okay, well, I know that Reshizard's going to be coming into the active position because it's the only attacker with any energy on it on Holden's side of the field. Holden's going to use that free bench space to go for another Day-Day change, which that was one of the reasons I really liked bringing up the Reshizard. I think if Brady brings up the Reshizard, Holden doesn't have any draw cards in his deck. He was bench locked, so Holden would have not been able to draw cards unless he just had a switch in his hand. Really tough call there. Opening up the bench space gives Holden the draw, but if Holden benches this Dedenne, he is going to bench lock himself out of using Ninetales. Which means that Brady is going to have that knowledge that Holden cannot gust again until he gets at least a Vulpix down. Looks like Holden is going to suit up his Reshizard with a Fire Energy, go for the Day-Day change, discarding his hand, drawing 6 cards. Finds a Vulpix and a bunch of fire, nothing else. He's got Stellar Wish. No switch cards yet, though, so... I mean, if he wants to attack, he needs to find an escape board or a switch. He's got the board, which he'll gladly take, but putting this Charizard in harm's way, feels bad. For one prize, feels pretty rough. And we'll see how this unfolds for Brady. I mean, once he's in the driver's seat again, if he finds 3 Electro Powers, he can Tag Bolt GX for knockout. I don't suspect that that's going to be what we see here. I think, Brady really wants, unless he's just got it, I mean, maybe. Brady really wants to full blitz onto a Raichu. I mean, there are multiple 3-prize Pokemon on Holden's side of the field. He needs to accelerate some energy in a serious way. And I think now would be a great time to accelerate onto Raichu. I mean, you got to assume maybe the Picarom's going down. That's fine. You could stamp Holden to 2 if the Picarom does go down. Picarom's main job really just to get energy into play here and allow Brady to play the rest of the game with enough energy on board. And it looks like he does grab the radar, which is interesting because he has a Pokemon and the Pokemon Communication in his hand. So he could have just used Pokemon Communication to go trade that Picarom in his hand for the Raichu and Alolan Raichu. Instead, we see Brady ditching an Electro Power to get potentially Dedenne and Raichu. It looks like interesting choices here. I don't think that Brady needs that second Picarom in his hand. That guy can probably go. So let's see what he goes for. He's eyeing up his hand, making sure that he knows what he's got going on. He's got maybe one of his last custom catchers in his hand, and no, we're trading the Raichu back into the deck. And going for a Jirachi. So, where is this turn going? Who are we full blitzing to? Sim Brady, it's your world. We're just living in it, bro. I'm just trying to figure out where we're full blitzing to. Might be full blitzing to another Picarom. Certainly a possibility. Brady can attach to his Picarom on the bench. Go for the Tag Bolt for game. He's got the Thunder Mountain already. I think that actually is a really heads-up play. I love this. Going for the Tag Bolt GX. He's already got the Thunder Mountain in his hand. All he needs to do is not play the Thunder Mountain. Just wait. And full blitz. Great play from Brady. All right, I love this. This is very, very heads-up play from Brady. It's coming clear now. Just getting 4 energy onto the bench Picarom, and he knows that Holden is bench locked. Holden cannot gust. He does not have the Ninetales on board. He cannot take out the 4 energy Picarom. He also knows that Holden probably doesn't play Reset Stamp. Not that a Reset Stamp would do Holden much good right now. But since Brady has got 5 prizes remaining, Tag Bolt is the way. He's completely bench-locked this Reshiram Charizard deck, and there's no way out. Even if Holden did play a Mew, he cannot put the Reshizard on his bench out of fear that Brady will Tag Bolt it. But it looks like that's exactly what Holden's doing. Holden knows that if he doesn't move this Charizard, it's going to be game over. And he doesn't have the Welder in his hand. The last card is the Welder. Wow. At what cost? Getting Holden just a couple more cards. He's going to see 3 more cards with the Welder. Had to manually retreat his Charizard. And that Charizard has only taken 1 prize. Feels really rough here to be in Holden's shoes. But he does have Welder, probably going to be suiting up that second Reshiram Charizard on the bench. 2 Fire Energies and draws 3 cards. Acrobike, Volcanion, another Welder. So those are his last 2 Welders. He did have to discard 2 earlier. And a bad choice. Turtonator or Victini. He's got to keep the Victini. 3rd Fire Energy coming down onto the Reshizard. And he's got to pass. I think at this point, if you're Brady, you just full blitz again. Holden doesn't have a way to get this thing out of the active position. Just full blitz. That's it. Brady can afford to just go down to 4 prizes. He knows he isn't getting gusted. He can keep that Pikarom on the bench for that game-winning tag bolt. And it's Brady's turn. I think Brady has to realize he can't Dedenne this custom catcher, or he could take himself potentially out of the game. Super heads-up play, just a full blitz here, and see what Holden does. He knows he can't get gusted. He's safest with the 3 energy Pikarom in the active. No reason to make any sudden movements. And Brady sees it, goes for the full blitz. Great play here, loading up that 5th energy onto the Pikarom. Thunder Mountain Prism Star in hand. He has got game. All he has to do is announce Tag Bolt GX, and Holden is on the ropes. Really tough spot for Holden here. Tag Bolt GX at this point will definitely knock out that benched Reshiram and Charizard. It's a little bit more complicated than that, though. He's got 4 prizes and a Reshiram Charizard in the active. Brady kind of also needs Gust. But we assume if this active Pikarom goes down, Brady does have an opportunity to find a Volkner or that second custom catcher off the Stellar Wish. This game's not quite over yet. Brady's definitely favored. He's in a great spot, but with another 3 prize Pokemon in the active, I mean, it's going to be tough for Brady to take this thing down. And we saw he radared away an Electro Power the other turn. So he may not have the triple Electro Power play to take out this Reshiram and Charizard. Holden going in with the Welder. He's got the 6th Fire Energy. We're going to see a Double Blaze GX for 300 damage. It's not going on to the Pikarom that he wants. Holden would love to knock out that benched Pikarom, but Brady targeted down Holden's Vulpix earlier in the match and took that option away. Brady needs a custom catcher here for game, and he's got it. He top decks the custom catcher. He's got Tag Bolt for game with the Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and that's it. 5 prizes. Brady Botner getting there with Pikarom. Tag Bolt for 5. Crazy game. Brady navigated that just right. Was able to win with Tag Bolt GX, realizing early on that Holden's board is actually set up perfectly for a Tag Bolt GX, and that if he could take away the gusting capability of that Reshiram Charizard deck, Tag Bolt GX does become a very potent option for victory. All right, we got Brady here. Brady living in year 3000 with them plays, man. He really really knew how to do that. You were telling me before we went live here, you don't even need Raichu in that matchup.
No,
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think most of the time to win that matchup, you want to end up like tag bolting like a Reshizard and Dedenne for a game or something. That's like how I've won that matchup most of the times I've won it.
That's pretty cool. So we saw like you went for the early Tapu Koko, you put that energy onto like Zeraora and Pikarom, and then I think as soon as you realized that he couldn't gust your Pikarom, you kind of had that game under control, right?
Right, yeah, because he like bench locked himself with like the Dedennes and the like second Reshizard. So, I mean, which I think like he needed to do, obviously, but like it made it so he couldn't gust the entire game because that deck doesn't play custom catchers. It's just
right. So starting the Hoopa, had you planned on kind of leading with Hoopa, like once he was kind of already out there? Did you think to yourself, like, all right, I'll probably try to take a quick prize with Hoopa real quick?
I wasn't going to attack with Hoopa until he like benched that Jirachi before he passed, because then I had knockout on like Jirachi or Vulpix or whatever.
Right, the third
otherwise
ability
I was
Pokemon.
just going to like full blitz the Jirachi and like go from there.
That's usually how it ends up going for me. You usually don't get that luxury of using Hoopa to take a quick knockout, so you have to like full blitz a Jirachi. How does the matchup usually unfold there? Like sometimes and then you get like double blazed. Then do you maybe need Raichu?
Oh, wait,
if you're...
that's a situation where you don't know.
Yeah. Maybe in that situation where we're full blitzing the Jirachi into a 3 energy Reshizard.
Yeah.
Perhaps we're going to a Raichu.
Right. Because then if they don't knock out the Pikarom that next turn, then you can like tag switch and then tag Bolt if that's
Right. So I mean that's just thinking on your feet. I mean, so that was some good plays there. It's not necessarily one route that takes you to victory against that deck every time. You're going to want to be responsive to whatever your opponent's doing.
Right.
So let's see. Last round, what did you play against? This round you played against Reshizard. Round 1, you played against a Mewbox. What were you playing against last round?
I was trying to play against Darkbox.
Darkbox. How did that go?
I like stamped him to 3 and he never drew out of it. And
Dang.
That's pretty much how it went.
Now,
he had obviously taken 3 prizes and I hadn't taken any yet. And
wow.
took the rest.
Oh, so you just did a little shake and bake maneuver there. Okay. So you come from behind, 3, you was up 3, and then you came back. Crazy game. So difference between 2 and 3 stamp. We see some players playing 3 stamp. I think you're probably playing 2, right?
I am playing 2.
Okay. Now, what, if any, difference between those counts, or do you think it's significant, or does it matter, or what do you prefer?
I haven't really tested 3 at all, but 2 has always felt like enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean, you
most
never
games-
really need to stamp 3 times?
No, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, the only reason to play 3 was, like, obviously, like, there's sometimes you'll Dedenne some away, and then, like, you might prize one or whatever, but, like, a lot of games just 1 stamp is enough. So having 2 in the deck is, like, plenty.
Right. I think that's fair, and it's kind of where I'm at with it. The more stamps you play, the more you're going to Dedenne them away.
Right.
Because the more you'll see early.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a matter of that's definitely where your tech spot starts to come in. Was like that 3rd stamp,
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather cut into the stamps than like the switch count,
Yeah.
which I do see some people doing as well. So excellent stuff, Brady. Is there any matchup that you're kind of nervous about here? I think I saw. Is there a Pachirisu in that list too?
There's a Pachirisu.
Oh boy! Now did you just switch out the Zapdos for the Pachirisu?
I've never had Zapdos in there. Yeah, I was
All right.
Pachirisu very early.
Yeah, you were early adopter of the Pachirisu. Now, tell me a little bit about Pachirisu. Are you happy with its performance so far in the deck?
I haven't really used it tonight because I haven't played any of the matchups it's good for, but I mean, it just like
You played it at the Cup, though, where you
I
got
did,
top
yeah.
4 this past weekend.
It was super good at the Cup. It actually won me a game, like my win and end, in fact.
Oh.
He had a Mimikyu active with a spell tag, and I went Pachirisu, Electro Power, knocked it out, and I got rid of the spell tag, and my Pikarom ended the game with 210 on it, so if that spell tag would have triggered, I would have lost.
Boy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty significant there. So
Yeah.
you think you like Pachirisu over Zapdos,
Yeah,
then?
Pachirisu's broken. It's so
Broken.
good against Malamar, so good against Gardevoir. It takes Gardevoir from like a super sus matchup to like an auto win.
Auto win!
Yeah, I'm like, I'm Last Eight Labs knocking out one, and then I'm Pachirisu in the other one. Like, where's your other lightning shot?
Yeah, you should have brought 3. All right, so that's good to know. All right.
Yeah.
Some useful information there from Brady heading into the Knoxville Regional Championships. Congrats on your win, Brady,
Thank you.
and good luck in your next round.
Thanks.
4th and final round of the Full Grip Games League tournament. And I know, well, if Brady calls it, Brady never calls tails, so we'll see who's going first. Oh, look at Jesse's little, wow, dice block there. Turn 0, 1, 2, and 3. That is fancy, Jesse Parker. And Brady has got to start with the Cyrus Prism Star in his hand. Wonder if he used that at all today. We had talked about that during his interview as well. Cyrus, a nice little tech for Malamar. You could just completely remove all of their bench Pokemon from play, which is kind of rad, but you got to have a Jirachi in the active position in order to pull that play off. A little bit situational, but Malamar's a sketchy matchup, so I could see that being a valid option for Pikarom, maybe heading into the Knoxville Regional Championships. It's going to be an uphill battle for Brady for sure. Jesse is able to control the amount of ability Pokemon on his side of the field and maybe prevent Brady from taking knockouts on that Alolan Ninetales with the Luminous Barrier using Hoopa. I'm sure that's going to be Jesse's main prerogative. Also, Alolan Ninetales resists Hoopa, which is a little bit of a pain for Brady to work around. Not exactly an ideal scenario. And then not playing Zapdos means that he doesn't exactly have the best option for one-hit KOing that Ninetales either. Jesse getting started, ditching the Cyrus right away. Now, that's interesting, you know. I mean, I don't think he's got a great way to get out of this hand without using Dedenne. So the Cyrus, which would be really good in this matchup, not going to be a card that we see played, unfortunately. Jesse does get just a huge board together, right? And it would be amazing to just make Jesse shuffle in all of those bench Pokemon except for 2. But Brady, unfortunately, has to get rid of that Cyrus in the opening hand. I think going for a Dedenne play. He's got another Pikarom, signaling that he's going to be going for a Tag Bolt here. I mean, usually the double Pikarom, you're just saying, all right, I'm trying to Tag Bolt GX, and I'm going to try and take out multiple prizes at the same time. That's just what we got going on. And I think Brady correctly realizing that Raichu potentially not the best attacker in this matchup, so I do agree with that. And he's going to Day-Day change away the Cynthia, saying, I don't care about Shuffle Draw 6. I want to Discard Draw 6. Which is fair. A lot of times you find the Volkner off of that Day-Day change. You're in a great spot. But sometimes you find a dead hand, Brady. And then you lose. Right? So I think a little bit of a high greed play there. Just Day-Day changing away the Cynthia. Could have left that Dedenne in the deck and potentially drawn into it off of the Cynthia. A little bit of a ham play there from Brady. Jesse starting Goomy and going straight for the Cynthia. Going to shuffle draw 6 himself. Looking ideally for just a Poipole or so. He's already got the Eligem on his bench. He's already got the Ditto on his bench. I think just a single Poipole would be great. The Ditto can evolve into Alolan Ninetales. The Eligem's already ready to go. Wow. This is like a perfect draw for Jesse. That draw was insane. He's got Eligems. He's got Vulpix. He's got Ultra Space for Poipole and a Mysterious Treasure in his hand. I don't know that there's too much else he could have possibly wanted off of that Cynthia for 6 cards. He's got Ultra Space coming down, going for a Poipole. And will get ready for that Naganadel GX to come down. Start using Ultra Conversion to churn through his deck. There's the Poipole, and then he's also got plenty of bench Pokemon in this hand that he can just slap down. Brady, on the other hand, has got a hot nothing going on in his hand. After that quick Dedenne, it looks like he's got Pachirisu and maybe not even a Lightning Energy. He does have Stadium Nav, but I think he needs a Lightning Energy even to consider using Full Blitz turn 2. Meanwhile, Jesse over here really pulling out all the stops. Brady with the top deck of Electromagnetic Radar is getting bailed out of this one just in time. I think one more turn of dead drawing there, and Jesse would have the entire lockup. Brady's going to go for his Stadium Nav, hoping to nab a Thunder Mountain, and he gets it. You see the Thunder Mountain Prism Star there on the bottom of his deck. Can definitely nab that and get the turn 2 Full Blitz, so long as he is able to Day-Day change into at least a Lightning Energy. That is all he needs. Or a Tapu Koko Prism Star and an Energy Switch. Thank goodness he drew into that electromagnetic radar. It was going to start to look kind of ugly here for Brady. Brady just taking some quick stock of his deck. He's got a couple of Dedennis in there. Plenty of outs to draw off of that radar. And I think you just got to go for the Thunder Mountain for sure. Get that full blitz going. And hopefully get a quick tag bolt as well. Thunder Mountain Prism Star coming down. And Brady also has to go in. I think he's discarding 2 Lysander Labs. Wow. So no counter stadiums for the rest of the game, but it's fine. Jesse probably just runs Ultra Space. And I suspect that Brady is going to discard this Raichu and Alolan Raichu here off the Day-Day change. Just thinning his deck. Nice little play here from Brady. Getting that into his hand. Prior to the Day-Day change, Thunder Mountain's going to calm down. And Brady may decide that he needs to bench his Pachirisu actually as well. Patchy is in his hand right now. And his deck has very limited options to deal with... Wow. Oh, it is a Goomy in the active. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, he would have to double Custom Catcher around this Goomy. I'm thinking the play is like very straightforward. It's not. Oh, Brady. Custom Catcher's into Custom Catcher. Custom Catcher again. And he's going in with this Pachirisu. So he's thinking with Thunder Mountain Prism Star, he may be able to use Pachirisu's Overshort attack for 20 damage, but he also needs an Electro Power. So off this Day-Day change, he would have to find Lightning and Electro Power. Which puts him in a really tough spot, except he can get the Tapu Koko Prism Star. This is actually huge. Drawing into this Pokemon communication is real big. Gives him the opportunity to bust this Tapu Koko GX before the Day-Day change, which is just huge. I mean, he's got to do that. No, he's not. Saving the Tapu Koko Prism Star for later. I think Brady may... Whoa. Brady might be living in year 3000 again. He might be going for the Tapu Koko Prism Star to attack into the Alolan Ninetales. I think that's probably what Brady's hesitation is. He doesn't want to Dance of the Ancients because he needs that Tapu Koko Prism Star to knock out Alolan Ninetales. It's one of his only outs to do so. And he does have it. Wow, Pachirisu using Overshort, taking out the Goomy, 50 damage. Patchy looking pretty spicy right about now. Let's get that Patchy up onto the screen, y'all. So we can see that Pachirisu in all of its glory. My goodness. Check out that beautiful Pokemon card. A beautiful clay Pokemon card. Jesse benching Mew. He is not going to get tag bolted. And going into his deck with Mysterious Treasure, getting himself that BEHEEYEM and going to use Copycat. Copycat is only draw card in hand. Not sure how big Brady's hand is. Maybe 5 or 6. Looks like just 5 cards. Jesse has 5 cards to find himself hopefully a counter stadium and the triple acceleration energy. That would be huge. Let's see what he gets. 5. He's got the triple and he's got Naganadel GX. Great draw here from Jesse. He's going to be taking out the Pachirisu with his BEHEEYEM. It's one of Jesse's only non-GX options. Ultra conversion for 3. Doesn't find the counter stadium. The counter stadium staying is absolutely huge for Brady, or the Thunder Mountain Prism Star sticking is huge for Brady because it's his only out to use Full Blitz next turn. Without that Thunder Mountain, I don't think there's any hope that he Full Blitz. But it would be crazy if Brady can actually find that Tapu Koko Prism Star and Full Blitz to it. I think that's the dream for Brady. Wants to Full Blitz to Tapu Koko and set up that knockout. Thunder Mountain sticking. And the ball is in Brady's court. There is the Tapu Koko. No way. No way. Brady has got it. What a legend. And here he goes. He's going to Full Blitz onto Tapu Koko. What a sack. He top decked it like a champ. And now he is ready to roll. Tapu Koko Prism Star says Alolan Ninetales who? I believe I could deal 120 damage through that Luminous Barrier ability real fast. Brady moving down to 4 prizes remaining. Didn't need a single item to pull that play off, and now Brady's board is completely established. He's got plenty of energy in play. Hilariously enough, he doesn't actually have another lightning, so if Jesse ever does counter this stadium, it's going to be bad news for Pikarom, who cannot Full Blitz anymore. Jesse going to go for the Cynthia and hope to draw into a Luminous Barrier Ninetales, hope to draw into a BEHEEYEM and a Counter Stadium. Really wants the Counter Stadium. Every turn this Thunder Mountain sticks, it just makes Brady's life that much easier. And it looks like he's got the triple acceleration energy. I'm not sure if I see a BEHEEYEM there. There's BEHEEYEM. There's the stadium. Jesse got it all off the ultra conversion. I don't think I see a Luminous Barrier Ninetales yet. But he does have the triple acceleration energy. So Jesse may be living another turn without a valid wall, which is actually, I don't know if Brady can bring up the Tapu Koko. I think he's got to wait to attack with Tapu Koko until, oh, Jesse doesn't have an Eligym down. This is huge. So Brady can actually go up with the Tapu Koko Prism Star because Jesse is not going to be using Mysterious Noise back to back. He knows this. Jesse is bench locked. No Eligym in play. And Jesse's just going to throw up that Vulpix with the board, the U-turn board. Brady top decks Cynthia. Amazing top deck here from Brady. If he finds a lightning energy, I do expect him just to use Full Blitz and maybe power up Zeraora or the other Pikarom. I think the other Pikarom is probably the best bet. That way you go 3 prizer, and 1 single prizer. Force your opponent into a 7 prize game. Brady needs to find a lightning energy bad though. We'll see if he finds it. He's got the lightning energy. Full Blitz coming in hot. Taking the knockout on that Vulpix. Fully expect Brady to load up that other Pikarom on the bench. He's got 2 energy in deck. That's fine. Really skating on thin ice with the energy, but he's got enough. And there's a tag switch somewhere in that deck as well. Brady counting, saying, am I going to get an energy off the prizes? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is 1 energy prized. So I like this decision to load 2 onto Pikarom. Jesse now has got a triple acceleration energy. Ultra Space is going to be sticking for the rest of the game. Well, I guess Brady does run a power plant. He's actually got 1 more stadium out, so if Brady does find that, it is relevant. It does stop these Naganadel GX from using Ultra Conversion. Jesse's going to find the Pheromosa off of Ultra Space, probably just to trade away with Ultra Conversion. And he still needs Ellie Gems. He needs Ellie Gems bad. Or else this item lock is just, it's going to be broke down for a couple of turns. He's already sacrificing 1 turn of item lock guaranteed here. He cannot Mysterious Noise. So he's going to eye up Brady's discard pile. And I expect Jesse on this turn to probably try to get a Psychic Energy or a Beast Energy onto one of these Naganadel GX. That would be optimal, because then it would allow him to potentially go in with a Venom Shot for game. Jesse does have at least 1 Psychic Energy and a Beast Energy in the deck. He has a Cynthia to go for it, and I think you kind of have to go for it. Finds another triple. Heartbreaking here. I still don't see any Eligims. He's going to stamp Brady. And I believe he's got both versions of Naganadel GX out. He's actually got Stinger GX is an option for him, because he's got the Psychic Necrozma GX out, as well as the Dragon one from Unified Minds. So we may see that Stinger GX come into play. Brady has only got 3 prizes left, though. So he's probably going to wait until Brady is much closer to winning the game. Jesse's going to go in with Brock's Grit this turn, get those Ellie Gems back into the deck. If Brady can target down and take out the Psychic Naganadel, that is the biggest threat on Jesse's side of the board right now. Are they both Ultra Conversion? I can't see that. Okay. That's not a Naganadel Psychic. I can barely see, guys. Thanks. 1 is full art. Oh. Thanks, guys. No, they're both Dragon upon closer inspection. But the Stinger GX would be pretty spicy, though, wouldn't it? Can't tell. It looks purple for me. But yes, now I see. It is the Dragon one. And Jesse's going to throw that Goomy active. No item lock now. No item lock. So Brady is free to move about the cabin here, using all of his item cards that he has had locked out of the game here so far. Brady using Energy Switch to get that extra energy onto Pikarom so that he can full blitz the Goomy in the active position. The Goomy has been pretty annoying, making it so that Brady needs extra energy to perform his attacks. Brady gets 6 off of Cynthia. And we'll see what he gets. Bunch of items. I mean, he kind of has to... No, he doesn't have to play those down. Jesse still does not have an Ellie Gem in play, so we know that Jesse is not going to be getting the Mysterious Noise next turn. Jesse also would be in a great spot to get a Poiple down so that he can evolve into that Psychic Naganadel GX, the one I thought was in play, but Now I'm realizing it's just me getting old and my eyesight starting to go. Brady gets the full blitz. And Jesse could be out of this game. Brady, who's only got a couple prizes remaining. Is it one? I'm not sure. I mean, he's really down to the wire here. Oh, thanks, Owen. 30 years young. And Jesse is on the ropes for sure. Jesse could potentially still win this game. Brady's got 2 prizes remaining. I see that now. So Jesse is on a 2-turn clock. He can Stinger GX still, but he can only give up 1 more prize. Jesse also does have the Nihilego, I believe, in his hand. He could tap that to take 3 prizes himself on the Pikarom this turn, which would be pretty big. But I don't think that actually, well, I mean, that'd be pretty significant, taking all of Brady's energy out of play. Brady does have the return knockout with the Tapu Koko, though. So Jesse does have to tread carefully with that. Not sure that Jesse has the energy to pull off the Nihilego play either. I'll have to take a look at his hand. Looks like Jesse is getting a Naganadel out of the deck with Ultra Space. And is going to be using Ultra Conversion to draw some cards. I think I do see that Psychic Energy in his hand, potentially. Ultra Conversion for 3. Pokecom. And he's got an Alley Gym. Yo, Wit! Thank you so much for that sub, my dude. Second Ultra Conversion coming down. Both Ultra Conversions used. Jesse has got a huge hand. Now, which basic Pokemon will he bench? He's got Eligym. Does he see the Stinger play, or are we going Nihilego here? I think it's Nihilego. Full-fledged Nihilego time. Psychic Energy coming down, and we're about to see some crazy plays from this Nihilego. Probably copying Tag Bolts, if I had to guess. Dealing 200 damage. Or he could just copy Full Blitz. Search his deck for some Lightning Energies. It's going to be Full Blitz for knockout. But Jesse is short on game here. He's going to go down to 1 prize remaining. But he won't be able to take game. Brady, on the other hand, has got the Tapu Koko. Going to promote it. And we're going to see some Mach Bolt action here on the table, kids. Mach Bolt coming in hot. Tapu Koko, Prism Star. We don't always get to see Tapu Koko attack. But when we do, oh boy, is it exciting. All right. Tapu Koko out here with 3 energy. Brady has got Switch into an escape boarded Jirachi. And is going to get a Stellar Wish. Looking at the top 5. Going to grab a trainer card he finds there. I think he's eyeing up a Custom Catcher. And with double Custom Catcher, he could just take out the Alley-Gym. Or does he have game? Oh, he does have game. He's busting that 3 energy Koko onto the Pikarom. Tag Bolt for game. Crazy match. The Tapu Koko Prism Star didn't even get to attack. He danced of the Ancients with all 3 energy on the Koko, getting the final game-winning energy onto his bench Pikarom. Double Custom Catcher up the Naganadel and Tag Bolt for 230 damage, and that's game. Thank you so much, Fire Flame, for that 100 bits. What an awesome match. All right. Brady 4-0 with Busted Pikarom, getting there against the BEHEEYEM deck. Were you worried at all about that matchup, Brady?
A little bit, just because I haven't played against it much at all, so it's just kind of weird.
You seem to have the game plan kind of figured out. You were thinking about going for your Tapu Koko Prism Star. I saw you with the Pokemon Communication before the Dedenne early, and you're like, I could throw it, right? I could bust the Koko.
Yeah.
And then I saw you go for Raichu. I was like, man, he could have busted the Koko. And then you did a changed into trash or something.
Yeah.
It was one of the turns you did it changed into trash. I think it was the turn previous. Mm-hmm. But you did it changed, and then as soon as you did it, I was like, this man gonna full blister that Koko. And then like you get into this other hand after Cynthia, and I'm like, man, dude, he item locked now. Ain't no way he got it. Top deck the Koko like a legend, dude. Thunder Mountain didn't go anywhere. Yeah, you was sacked for that. You didn't have the energy to full blitz without that Thunder Mountain, bro. Man. So definitely an intense game. Really exciting to watch. Do you find yourself attacking with Tapu Koko often?
Nope. Almost never.
No. I guess like against Nagquag, maybe you would do that. But
maybe, yeah.
So you didn't even need it there.
Nope.
Actually just ditched the whole Koko. I was like, man, Koko about to get his feet wet. I had the Koko image up on the screen and everything. I was ready to go. He danced to the Ancients and just took game anyway. It was pretty exciting heads up play there. So what do you think? We talked a little bit about Knoxville. Are there any decks that you've been testing out yourself that you feel confident with for this weekend?
I'm pretty much only considering Pika and Pidgeotto.
Pika and Pidgey, all right, yeah, the P decks. Now tell us a little bit about Pidgeotto. It's obviously a deck that's not for everybody.
Right.
We tested it a bunch. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to play.
No.
How do you feel about that deck as far as do you think it's going to see some repeat success this weekend?
Yeah, I think it definitely will. Yeah, I think it'll probably top 8 again.
I mean, it's just a deck it's a top tier deck that nobody tests against.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, raise your hand in the chat if you've tested against Pidgeotto. Probably, I mean, maybe you have, but probably not many. Right?
Yeah.
And then if you do have a friend willing to test Pidgeotto with you, with like one day, this is actually kind of hilarious. Brady let me do laundry over his house because Brady got a laundry machine and I don't. And so, like, I come over with my laundry basket, and he's like, yeah, bro, by the way, your tax is that you have to play, you have to play reps against me playing Pidgeotto. So, man, which is actually really educational, 3 hours later. It was like, it was actually really educational experience, but I wouldn't really wish it on anybody that I cared about.
Yeah.
That's fair. So that's definitely a deck that we could see some surprises from this weekend, but anyways, Brady, I'll be with you this weekend, carpooling down to Knoxville. So good luck this weekend, and congrats on your win.
Thanks.
And that's it for the Full Grip Games League Tournament. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. It was an awesome time. Some super intense games on stream as well. Big kudos to the players here at Full Grip for putting on an awesome show tonight. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow morning with some PTCGO gameplay. My last stream before I go to Knoxville. I'm not going to be doing the viewer tournament on Friday because I'm going to be carpooling to Knoxville on Friday and getting some last-minute testing in with my the homies before the Knoxville Regional Championship. So tomorrow morning, last stream before the regionals. Make sure to be there 10 a.m. Should be there 10 a.m. till at least like 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For right now, we're going to be rating Riley. Make sure to check out Riley and JW. Make sure to check out FullGripGames.com for all your TCG singles and deck boxes, sleeves, things like that. We've got some sweet katanas, dragon shields, Ultra Pro Pro Mats. I use Ultra Pro Pro Mats for all my tournaments. We've got them online at FullGripGames.com as well as many, many, many Pokemon trading card game singles. Thank you guys all so much for watching tonight. Let's go give Riley and JW a warm welcome. Thank you so much to all the amazing subs tonight. Everybody who followed the channel, donated bits. We got JCar, XDNSL, and Fireflame on the top of the bit leaderboard. Let's go give these guys a warm welcome, and hopefully you tell them I said, hey, take it easy. Peace.